So if you're 83 and you would have seen a lot of changes in the Methven district in your time.
I certainly have, Rob. Yes, it's been a tremendous amount of change since the ski field opened, and even the farming community itself has changed such dramatically a lot, with going from millions of sheep to thousands of cattle now, dairy cows. So yeah, it's big changes, and with irrigation, everything that's changed. You know, the storage of irrigation going from the old border dike now to the centre pivots and things like that, and all the trees that we're losing, which is a bit of a shame, which was put in the early, about the 60s and late 50s and 60s. A catchment board gave a lot of money to put in shelter belts, and now they're all sort of gone out with the pivot centre. But anyway, that's what happens with production, I suppose.
And so-called progress.
Progress, yeah.
And I guess in the younger days you would have spent a fair bit of time on a header sewing bags.
Spent lots of time on headers and sewing bags, yes. Actually, I worked for a contractor here, Neil Smith, for many years. He's my brother-in-law. He's passed away now, but we used to walk. He'd be on an old class head, and we'd be going around not far out of Methven here, and I'd be bouncing around. I'd see the lights of Methven. I'd get that giddy bouncing bags and trying to sew them and get them off before the next bag comes on. But all that's gone now, I'm afraid. And
all in the cloud of dust, of course.
All in the cloud of dust, yeah. And used to work all night, of course, and when the conditions were right, with the nor'westers blowing that we get in Canterbury here, which makes Methven, because that's the only time we can get harvest done a lot of times.
Machinery has got really huge, hasn't it?
That's right. Oh yes, tremendous change in that, because I contract around here for 40 odd years, Rob, and I've been out of the game now about 12 years, but I was one of the first ones to bring the big baler into New Zealand, actually. And I've had a pretty interesting career as far as the baling goes with the New Holland, and they used to come over here from Pennsylvania and Belgium and test the first square balers, and they'd bring out all their bits and pieces and their staff, and it was really good for me because I was getting the job done and wasn't costing quite so much. But it was interesting to see how the machinery has changed from the wee square baler, which I still have one. But we were doing 350,000 wee square bales when I finished way back in early 80s or late 80s, and then we went to the big square bales, and this made a tremendous amount of difference. We still do the odd wee bale, but handy for horses and things like that. But I know the machinery with the header harvesters and that, and more bulk grain now, has just made a tremendous amount of difference, you know.
And the crops have changed. There would have been a lot of different crops nowadays compared to what you saw in your time.
Certainly has. Well, as I say, we're just looking here now in this agricultural centre here where we grow 70 different crops around Methven. It's absolutely amazing. Some of the names of the crops I hadn't heard of when I was baling way back, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, but it's all changed, and it's great for the district though, because it's certainly given people a lot of chances to grow different crops, and along with the irrigation they can do that now.
And as you said, the black and whites have taken over and the sheep have headed into the hills.
Certainly, I think, what was it, we had 74 million sheep way back about 20 years ago, but now I think we're down to probably about, 24, I think I said the other day. I think I saw a figure somewhere about 24 million. And of course the dairy cows are everywhere now. And, every year there's new dairy farms going up everywhere, so it's amazing how it's actually changed. The whole landscape has changed with the dairying. But that's good because it gives the cropping farmer an extra, they grow different crops for the dairy farmer in the winter, and can graze their cows, so it gives them another option too for the cropping farmer as well as the dairy farmer.
And the community's changed. I guess we did have family farms and now we've swung into corporates.
Certainly has, yeah. There's when I think back now, years ago, even just 20 years ago when I was hay baling, that there was a lot of family farms, but there's 2 or 3 still in the district that I can just think about off my top of my head, but head. But I think, yeah, no, it's all changed. It's just, and the dairying has just taken over and bought up farm after farm and just multiplied that way. And I think that probably a lot of the farmers are getting a bit on, and they thought they didn't have children to carry on, so they opted out.
When you were a lot younger, we had a lot of people in the local schools. Then they disappeared because we didn't have big families.
That's right.
And now we're swinging back again with dairying, I guess.
Yeah, we certainly are. Oh, yes, the school rolls in Ashburton district have gone up tremendously over the whole Ashburton district, not only Methven, but in the whole Ashburton district with the changing of the dairying, yeah. But they sort of come and go a wee bit too, because they stay a year or two and a couple of years and then they move on, and that's what's happening now. We've just gone past the change date again for the dairying, and what do you call it, that day?
Gypsy Day.
Gypsy Day, yeah. So, there you are.
Tell me about Mount Hutt. Has it really been the saviour as far as the Methven village is concerned?
Oh, no doubt about that, yes. There was a wee bit of reluctance with some of the farmers when we first mooted about Mount Hutt, but it's certainly paid dividends for Methven. It's made it, you know, because we lost our railway line, which was a wee bit of shame in 1967, and just a pity now that the railway line wasn't left there and we could be coming up here now with tourists on the track from Rakaia. But yes, it's made a tremendous amount, because, you know, all the accommodation places, it has certainly upgraded our facilities in Methven too. A lot of different cafes here now we can go to, and all the facilities around it for people to live at, to stay at is tremendous now. Yeah, I think, just off the top of my head, I think we've got about 5,000 or 6,000 beds in Methven. It's quite a lot for a small community, like of 1,700 people. I think we're about our population now.
And I suppose it's off-season, because it's when farming is quiet, the ski season is in full roar. That's
right, yeah, yes, it's all go all right at the moment here with the ski season. I think over the weekend, I think the first day was, Saturday was 1,500 up there, and I think yesterday was around about 1,700 up the ski field. Of course, not all of them stay in Methven, but the fair majority do come from overseas and stay. But as you know, we're pretty close to Christchurch, and it's a good local ski field for Christchurch as well as the other ones, you know. And slip out to Methven, it's not that far away.
Viv, what would Methven be like if it wasn't a ski resort or tourist town?
I think we'd just still be the old farming district that we were, and it wouldn't be, certainly, as I said before, you know, we wouldn't have the upgraded facilities that we got now. You know, we've got 2 grocery shops here in Methven, and and lots of accommodation, and the eating facilities around town now. You can go and eat out at, you know, 2 pubs have upgraded, the resort down there, and, you know, there's heaps of places, Japanese style, there's Asian style, so there's heaps of places for people to eat now, which wouldn't have been here before if we didn't have the tourism.
Do you think farming is going to get more technical and more production driven?
Makes you wonder where it's all going to stop with machinery and all the new technology, but yeah, I think it's carrying on. We're in a pretty good space at the moment, even though the dairying has dropped a wee bit, but I think it's only might be a couple of years or something before it picks up. But I just felt in my mind that it just got over too high at $8 a kg, and it's down to about $4.70 now, or $4.40 they're talking. So just one of those things, but the cropping seems to be picking up a bit, and it gives us another arm for a cropping farmer for grazing cattle, and they can't graze them on the farm all the year round, and they like to get them off to these cropping farmers which grow special crops for them, the McHale and the Chalmolia and stuff like that, so that they can go off and get rid of their cows in the winter and
Pug up somebody else's farm.
Pug up someone else's farm, that's right. But, you know, with the machinery we've got today, it's you got things that can root up those again. You got deep sea things, and can work all the new mechanical gear we've got now for working ground. It's pretty good.